In this morning's Celtic FC news, we talk about yesterday's game, Raith Rovers Celtic, and it's pretty much a disappointing first half. We talk about Christopher Jullien has tweeted an emotional message to the Celtic support after spending 409 days without competitive action. Liam Scales details the blast that Ange Postecoglou delivered to the Stars. Even the Stars weren't spared at half time, and the Celtic manager Postecoglou condemns the comfortable Celtic win. Even though it was a comfortable win on paper, it looked comfortable, but anybody that was watching that first half would also have seen on the television, you would have picked up the microphone. Postecoglou was furious at a back pass. And lastly, we talk about midfielders Barry Robson, former Celtic midfielder Barry Robson, who's taken interim charge of Aberdeen after the sacking of Stephen Glass, and Scott Brown joins him. How do you feel about that, Celtic fans? Christopher Jullien has tweeted, "It's been 409 days since the last time that he was subbed in Paradise. It's been a very challenging time in my life. I thought all about the people that's helped me throughout this journey, especially my friends and family. Thankful to be part of such a club and feeling all the love from the best supporters. Now let's go. Hashtag hoops upside your head. Hashtag come on you boys in green. Hashtag goosebumps." Wow, that's he's back. What was it like to see him back? What do you feel about that? How did you think he played? Now that he's played, the 28-year-old has to find a way past Stephen Welsh, Carter Vickers and Carl Starfelt to get in the first team sheet. And saying that, I think Carter Vickers will need to prove himself even more if he wants to stay at Celtic, because he's going to have to either pair with them or he's going to get pushed out of the team. In my eyes, I think both would be a fantastic partnership, but where does that put Starfelt? And does Celtic then go to a back three? The manager doesn't like a back three, so I don't know. Where do we go? Where do we go from here? I don't know. Tell me in the comments. It's not very often that Celtic stroll to a 4-0 victory at the end of the battering from the Celtic manager, but Liam Scales knows the bar has been set very high at Parkhead these days under Ange Postecoglou. The fullback scored a sensational opener, but no one escaped the wrath of the gaffer at half time, as he basically given the players the hairdryer treatment, to say the least, after a lacklustre first half against Raith Rovers. The Celtic players didn't see it coming, and either way, we didn't see that coming. We didn't see that performance coming in the first half. It was absolutely shocking. Even Tom Roderick was making bad passes, and then there was Ralston kicked it out the pitch. He thought there was somebody going to be there, and there was nobody there. I don't know. Celtic didn't make much of a meal of the Championship men, but after the first half, Liam Scales admitted that the manager showed his teeth. There was mixed emotions as we didn't quite get to our levels, Scales went on to say. We're much better in the second half. Yep, because that's, you've got a rocket right up your jacksie, as they say. But anyway, the standards have been set very high at Celtic. The scoreline looked good, but the performance just wasn't there. The manager got his message across, and you saw the difference in the second half. Liam Scales went on to say, "I'm not sure why we weren't just clicking. It happens in football, but we needed to be quicker." Raith Rovers done really good. Raith Rovers done really good. They played us a couple of months back, and they weren't going to let us get our own way again. So teams are starting to close us down, but we need to keep the high pressing football. Postecoglou, you could hear him shouting during the game, and anyway, the Green Brigade were out. Fans didn't step up and play, as they said. They didn't step up and make the noise that Celtic fans should be making at games. How do you feel about that? A lot of people come on here and they say, a lot of people moan about the Green Brigade and they cost the club money, etc, etc. But let's face facts, that was like a morgue yesterday. You could probably have got zombies coming out the graveyard behind Celtic Park and coming into the ground. Haha. Zombies. Anyway, obviously it was frustrating for the Celtic manager, as we're not getting to the levels that he knows that we should be getting to. A 4-0 win would normally be resounding, but the Celtic manager was left very unimpressed with his squad's performance in the 5th round of the Scottish Cup against Raith Rovers. Although it was a 4-0 win against Raith Rovers, we're into the next round of the Cup. That's all that matters. Tom Roderick set up the first goal for Liam Scales. It was an absolute screamer. Comes off the woodwork and into the net. You know, the goal was a highlight of the first half. Let's face it, it was really it was a highlight of the first half. Whatever Postecoglou said at half time got the players out there, and then he made some changes. You had Guacamakis come on, Dyson Maida, and you're Bitten contributing with a goal as well. You know, 4-0, you'll take it. After the game, Postecoglou did not mince his words. The Celtic manager, speaking to Celtic TV, said, "We were not great the first half. I was disappointed with the way we went about things." Quite right, it was so he would be disappointed. We did not work hard enough and too many touches and moving the ball slowly. And the fact that he was screaming at players for making a back pass shows you exactly what he thought of the game. I mean, you could hear it blatantly on the television yesterday. He made seven changes before the game. It affected our fluency, and I thought it did. It really did affect the fluency. But we need to be better, and we were better in the second half. The Celtic manager went on, "It was a good response from our players. We raised the tempo. Subs came on and made all the difference. In the end, it was a good victory and gets us through to the next round," the Celtic manager said. Postecoglou went on to express his dissatisfaction after the match, and so he should. I mean, that first half is just shocking. Anyway, putting in a 45-minute shift is not what it's about, and that's what led to his frustration. Frustrations at that first half, I just can't get past it. I mean, I just don't know where it came from. And the fact that the Raith Rovers fans were out singing the Celtic fans, there has to be a lot said about that. Come on, it wasn't a full house yesterday, but there were still enough Celtic fans to be making a bit more noise. How did you feel about it? I know that social media was like, you get a lot of people on social media that say, yep, no, they could do without the Green Brigade, but yesterday really shows that Celtic need that corner. They need that corner to create some atmosphere, because, let's face it, like it or not, Celtic fans are not creating the atmosphere when the Green Brigade are not there, I'm afraid. And yesterday was probably one of those occasions, and that was why the team was a bit slow in the first half. If you ask me, that's just my personal opinion. Tell me in the comments what you think. Show the passion, the players, they needed it. They needed it yesterday in the first half, and it just wasn't there. Anyway, on to last but not least, the last bit of news. Former midfield player Barry Robson, former Celtic midfield player Barry Robson, who has been in charge of the under-18s, I think it is, up in Aberdeen, will take interim charge of the club following Stephen Glass's dismissal from the club yesterday. The club has announced that Aberdeen got rid of Glass. I think it was a bit early. It's like Chris Sutton said, they're only 4 points off the top 4 or something. Do you know, I've not looked at the table this morning. So, but Barry Robson and Scott Brown on going to be part of the management team to take the club into the game against St Johnstone. How do you feel about that? Tell me in the comments, Celtic fans. And on that note, have a fantastic day.
Lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to the